Hi, Aunt and Uncle. This is Rita. I thought I'd take advantage of sending a tape this time. I guess it's about time I do answer you. You were nice enough to send me a birthday card and Christmas card, and I want to thank you for sending that check to Dennis. He always gets so excited when he sees a check in his envelope. He even has to sign his own name, but this time I says no. I says because the check has to go fly to California. I says, and your signature isn't that good. Well, I'm out of work now, becoming the lady of leisure. The plant closed down December 31st, and they kept me on until January 31st. So last week was my first week home. I was hoping I'd be the first one to go because I can't stand saying goodbye to anybody. I'm such a softy. I probably get that from the Tremblay side of the family. You should know that, Uncle Romeo. But anyways, I managed to live through it. And we were really, really busy towards the end. Between closing books, canceling orders. See, I used to work for the purchasing department, so we had to cancel all these orders. And you wouldn't believe the amount of money it cost to close down a plant. Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to close it. At least if they were investing the money to keep it open, you could understand. But just to close something down, they closed it down so tight that the last week of work we had no heat. Keep us warm. But of course, once the building cools off, electric heaters are kind of hard, to keep the room warm. But we managed anyways. We dressed warm and everything. So we put about 200 local people out of work, which doesn't help the fall of area much. We were a pretty depressed area to start with. So now I've joined the ranks of the unemployment, and I've become a statistic in a line. I only signed up this week because this has been my first week out, and they told me it would be about 4 or 5 weeks till I get my check. But really no one can complain because the company treated everyone very fairly. Me alone, they gave 3 months severance pay plus 1 week's vacation, which comes out to about $1,500. Plus I can still collect because I don't know how they arranged it. Usually you can't when you receive a severance, but they arranged it somehow. And we can still collect unemployment besides. So for the first 3 months, I'm making more money staying home than I was working. But it's all over now, and I'm glad to be home because it's real tiring to have to work with that constant thing hanging over your head that, the day's going to come when you have to say goodbye to everybody and everything. And I made real good friends, and it's only been a week, and yet we still call one another. And the girls, we found out that nobody collects on Wednesday, so that's our meeting day. We all meet for lunch, those of us that still aren't working anyways. All the executives got transferred to other Olin Corporation plants. And they even offered the girls, the other office staff, if they wanted to transfer, they could, but of course, we're married, so we can't move around the country like the executives do. But if I had been single, I think I might have considered it, because it's a very good paying company. And that's what hurts us, because we're never going to find another job in this area to pay us what they paid us. So I just consider it an end of an era in my life, I guess you could say. Jerry's glad to have me home, though. He says now he comes home and I'm here, and when he has days off during the week, I'm home with him, while before I'd be at work. Because he works about 3 weekends in a row now, then he has 1 weekend off. But he comes home every night, so I don't really mind it that much. Like when he worked in Brockton, he used to have to sleep there. And he's on call about 1 night a week, but he still stays home. If they need him, they'll call him. And he's only on call from 11 at night to 7 in the morning, so we can still go somewhere if we want to in the evening. So the holidays were real busy for us, between Christmas parties and, from the way my job ended up, going away parties for this one and that one. And I took advantage of every one of them because I knew once I was home, my social life would definitely go kaput. We were real busy. Santa was good to all of us. And of course, Dennis wasn't missing out on much. My father made him the nicest airplane out of wood. I saw it in a magazine, and I said, Dad, I said, why don't you make that for Dennis? He sure would like it. So my father said, well, I don't know if he's going to play with that. I said, I'm telling you, he would. The simple things is what he goes for. And I'm telling you, he has played more with that airplane. He thinks that's the greatest thing. Well, while I'm thinking of it, I received that package, and I haven't had the chance to bring the pillows to Muddy Ounge. But like I say, now I'm home, and I definitely will go up some afternoon. I'll call her first and make sure she's there. And I want to thank you for the coat hangers. I like those. I wish I had a whole closet full of them. Seems your clothes hang better on them, and they don't slip off and fall like they do sometimes. And I told my father that Uncle sent him that, whatever you call it, dado. I don't know if I'm saying it right. And he had to laugh. And he says, that Romy, he never forgets anything. They're in Florida. I'm sure you must know that by now. And I spoke to them, last night they called. And they said they'd be there about another week and a half or 2 weeks. So if they stay another 2 weeks, that will put them there about 5 weeks, I guess. Yeah, about that, 5 or 6 weeks. And they've had real good weather, and this time they went traveling. They went to Miami and Key West and a few other places on the East Coast, I guess, where they hadn't gone before. So I guess this time they had a real, good trip. Nobody was sick like before. They either had colds or gas was rationed. There was always something against them. But this time I guess they really did okay. Right now I think I'm in the middle of a blizzard. I haven't heard the weather report yet. But there's a northeast wind blowing good and hard, and there's quite a bit of snow coming down, so it could very well be we'll get one of these old-fashioned northeasters. We had snow Wednesday this week, which was the heaviest snowfall we've had all year. We had about 6 inches, but there was no wind, so it just piled up instead of drifting. But it was a very wet and heavy snow, and we had to shovel it by hand because if we used the snow blower, it would clog up the chute because it would freeze. So we had to shovel it ourselves. I cursed my mother with every shovelful of snow. I said, look at her, she's down there sunning herself on the beach, and I'm up here shoveling. There must be a law against things like that. We've had 2 new additions to our family since I saw you last. We now have 2 rabbits, hopefully 2 females. They told us they were 2 females, well that leaves to be seen. My husband has to have some kick, and this is his latest one, rabbits. And you should have seen the rabbit hutch my father built. All Jerry had to say was, give me an idea how to build it. And that was it. My father says, you're not going to build anything that's going to be outside and it's going to show. Because what you build on the inside, it looks pretty bad. So at least it doesn't show. But when it's going to be on the outside, that means I got to look at it too, and I want it to look decent. So he built a rabbit hutch that's like the Hilton of rabbit hutches. It's got 2 doors, it's got a screened-in porch, it's got a closed-in section, it's got this huge tray underneath that you pull out to clean so you don't have to scoop it out from the inside. Real shingles on the roof, and he painted it that cedar red color, and we put it up against the house inside that chain link kennel that you probably remember seeing. So these 2 rabbits are in their glory. Considering the farm we got them from, they were living on the ground in a little coop that was on the ground. They must think they're in rabbit heaven, that's for sure. But I was looking at one rabbit this morning, and she's a lot fatter than the other one. So I don't know. Maybe they're not 2 girls after all. So besides rabbits, the Belandres are in the market for a new car. Last night we went and looked at a car they call a Subaru. It's a Japanese car. And it's about the same size as a Datsun. You're supposed to get almost 30 miles a gallon with it, if not more. And the Volkswagen, the transmission let go on it for the 3rd time. And between that and tires, we'd have to spend about $300. And we figured, well, with my severance and everything, why don't we just invest it and get another, newer car? So the one I liked was white with sort of a vanilla creamy white interior with a brown rug, and it was really nice looking. And this car has this new kind of front wheel drive. It's supposed to be better in the snow and all this stuff. So I think probably we will get it. We're going to call the man up next week. And I'm also getting some wall-to-wall carpeting for my 2 bedrooms. And that's about all the new things around the house anyways that I can think of right now. We've all been real healthy this year. Dennis had a slight problem with his ears again, but come to find out it was caused through his teeth. He's cutting his 6-year molars, and it must have been like pressing on a nerve or something, and it was affecting his ear that he has trouble with, his right ear. So the doctor says there really wasn't much they could do until the tooth itself passed that certain point where it was cutting through. He says it may last a few hours or it may last a day, but luckily it only lasted about a day, and then he was okay. So I was glad because I thought maybe he really had an ear infection again like he's been getting. He still has 1 tube in his right ear, and the doctor's leaving it in there. He says that, it'll help drain if he gets cold or anything. He's getting over a cold right now. He had a real bad cold last week. I kept him out of school a couple of days. And he's been doing real good in school this year. I wish I had been as smart as him when I was in school. And, oh yes, Jerry and I are going to school now. We go to the Bristol Agricultural School. It's in Dighton. That would be the next town over from Somerset, heading towards Taunton. And we go on Wednesday nights, and we're taking a course in home gardening. Jerry says, with the price of food, we're going to start growing our own. Well, my father always has a garden across the street in the summer. But this year we're going to dig up some of the backyard, and we're going to plant some extra things there. Because the land across the street, you can't water it. It's too far to water. So this way, we're having one in the backyard where we can water it in the summertime more easily. So one night a week we go there. And of course, Friday nights I work in the credit union. Monday nights I go to a Bible class at church. And Tuesday nights I was teaching religion classes, but now that I'm collecting unemployment, I collect my unemployment on Tuesday night at 7:30. So I had to give up teaching the religion classes. And they're so stubborn at that unemployment place. Father gave me a letter asking them to excuse me and if I could go at another time on Tuesday because of, teaching the classes. And they wouldn't accept it. They said, no, we don't make exceptions for anyone. So I kind of hated to disappoint Father, but, there's nothing I can do about it. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, I had things going up until a week ago. Now I got my Tuesday nights free again at least. But that gives me 2 nights at home. So between working and that, I was really busy. So I'm kind of glad to be home now, because I'm getting caught up on a lot of things I've been neglecting for a long time.
Hi, this is Dennis. I want to tell you about my report card I got last Friday. I got an E for excellent in reading. I got a S for language, that means satisfactory. I got an S in spelling. I got an S in mathematics. I got an E in science, which means an excellent. I got a S in social studies. I got an E in health. I got a S in art, and in music, and in physical education, writing, and work habits. And I got an E in social attitudes. Thank you for the money for Christmas, and I hope you come back here soon. That's all. Bring Tiny too. Bye from Dennis. Kiss.
Well, now you just heard from the boss and the family. The big boss, Jerry's working today. He should be home in about an hour from now. I guess it's just as well that he was working because the weekend hasn't been that good, especially today with the snow and everything. I let Heidi say a few words to Tiny, but she's bashful. She said she doesn't want to talk. Of course, me being home, she thinks it's the greatest thing. She follows me from room to room. She's driving me nuts. I think she thinks I'm her mother. Nobody's told her yet that she's not a human being, that she's a dog. She sleeps in bed with you at night, just like yours, probably. That's the trouble with these dogs. You bring them up and they end up thinking that they're people instead of dogs. But she's real good company, and she's a good watchdog. Matter of fact, she's too good. She barks at everything that comes through the yard. But now that I'm home and alone, she's really good company during the daytime. And she just could get off my heels. Every time I turn around, she's there. But as long as she's laying in the sun, no matter if it's 100 degrees out, I think she'd still lay in the sun. She's happy. Of course, she misses my mother. Now it's not too bad. But the first couple of weeks my mother was gone, she drove me nuts. She'd cry at the back door because she wanted to go to my mother's. In the morning, I'd go to put her in her kennel. And one morning, she turned on me because she didn't want to go in the kennel. And she kind of hides in back of the furniture thinking I won't see her. But I'm smarter than her. But now she doesn't cry too much to go to my mother's. And after supper, she used to cry too. So I take her over with me sometimes, like if I'm working in the credit union, I'll bring her over and she'll stay upstairs. And she goes all over the house, and she goes into the bedrooms, and she sniffs all over the place. And I guess she's convinced now that there's nobody there. She probably thinks nobody loves her anymore. But I can't wait to see her reaction when they come back to see what she's going to do. Because all you're going to do is say to her, "Where's Louise?" And her ears perk up, and right away she goes to the door, you know. So my mother said she bought me something, and she bought Dennis something, and I'm sure when she comes home there'll be something for Heidi. If it's only a bone, there'll be something there. At Christmas time, she gave her a bone, and she wrapped it all up in paper. And the dog grabbed it as if to say, as if she knew it was her bone, you know. And she tore all the paper off, and then she finally got to the bone. It was so funny to see her. She probably figured Santa forgot her, but knowing my mother, she spends more time fussing over that dog. But she's getting too fat now, and she weighs 22 pounds. And that's a big, fat, hot dog. Jerry says this summer we're going to put her on the barbecue and cook her. Well, that's about all I got to say. I know I didn't talk the whole tape, because if I had, I probably would have bored you to death. But I had fun making this tape, and I enjoyed talking to you. The only problem is I don't get an answer back. I'm talking into a machine. So next time you send a tape to my dad, say hi to me like you always do anyways. And if I should be around when he's making his tape, I'll say a couple of words too. I hope you're all feeling good, and especially you, Uncle Romeo. I hope you're getting a little better. And I hope that we get to see you again in the near future, like Dennis was saying. Bring Tiny, too. Well, I gotta go. I put a cake in the oven, and it's time for it to come out. I don't want it to burn. I'm bringing supper to my mother-in-law's tonight. She hasn't been feeling too good lately, so I told her, I said, just set the table, and I'll be up with the supper. And I'm going to make her come out in the snow. So I made a roast beef, and I'm going to put some potatoes in there and carrots, and I just baked a cake, and I put the roast in the oven when I took the cake out. When I take the cake out, I'm going to put the roast in the oven. And we're going to bring that over there tonight, and we'll have supper with them. So I got to go. It's been nice talking to you, and I hope to get to talk to you again soon, and see you soon even. So have a good rest of the winter, and stay healthy. And we all love you. Bye now.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Over and out. Bye.